A cruise ship vacation is the ultimate getaway, allowing you to temporarily wash away the stresses of everyday life as you hit the seven seas traveling to some of the most beautiful places on planet Earth. But unfortunately, some passengers out there go off the deep end and all common sense goes right out the porthole, causing them to ask cruise ship employees questions that make you wonder what's really going on in that head of theirs. So as someone that's worked for cruise lines such as Carnival and NCL, I gotta be honest with you. During my time on board, I've been asked questions that are pretty out there. Now, not only do I have experience working on cruise ships, I also worked in theme parks as well for a number of years, and we have this saying that kind of goes across the board. It's that typically the people that go to these places usually leave their brain in the car, meaning they usually aren't thinking about much. Now, while working on board cruise ships, I was asked some questions that are, well, pretty dumb. That's why in today's video, I'm going to tell you 10 of the dumbest questions that cruise ship passengers ask cruise ship employees. Now, before we get started, I don't know why I have to say this, but I will anyway. I'm not saying that all cruise ship passengers are dumb. I'm not saying that all the questions that cruise ship passengers ask are dumb. So relax, even though I know some people out there are going to get offended anyway. It is what it is. But just keep in mind, this video is purely for entertainment purposes only. So the first dumb question that I've been asked is, which elevator will get me to the front of the ship? Believe it or not, I have been asked this question on multiple occasions back when I was working on board cruise ships. I hate to disappoint some of you out there, but the Wonkavator from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory does not exist. It has not been invented, at least not yet. Maybe down the road somebody will invent an elevator that can go up, down, left, right, center, horizontal, you name it. But as of right now, you're going to have to unfortunately walk, get a piggyback ride, or if you can sneak a scooter on board, which, I mean, that'd be really cool, then by all means, do what you got to do to get from the aft of the ship over to the front. Now, I'm also assuming that some of you out there maybe want to get to the front of the ship because you want to do like a Jack and Rose moment or something like that. But I hate to disappoint you again, but the front of the ship is reserved for the crew only. You as a guest cannot get over to that area. Typically when you go to the front of the ship, you have to go up to the higher deck, like a deck 17 or 20 or something like that. Now also when it comes to getting around the ship too, maybe down the road there are some cruise lines that are talking about the possibility of having like a monorail system on board that you can conveniently get from point A to point B. But as of right now, you got your feet. Number 2, has the cruise ship you're sailing on ever sank before? Well, yes, there's actually 2 mandatory sinkings that take place during the lifetime of a cruise ship. The first time is when the cruise ship is built, and the second time is when there's a couple passengers on board. That way they can make sure the exit strategy works as planned. No, I'm joking. There is no sinking of a ship, all right? Cruise ships don't just randomly pull off Titanics just to make sure everything is going okay. I promise you that. Every ship that you've been on has never sank before, okay? Now, they don't do this because of the simple fact that if they sink these ships, the technology, the infrastructure, everything else would just kind of be out of whack and there'd be irreversible damage. You'd smell mildew all in your rooms and it just wouldn't be a good look at all. It just wouldn't be it's not the best idea, I'll put it that way. This is like a plane crashing and they just putting it back together again and then just making it able to fly. Would you personally fly on that airplane? I wouldn't. The third dumbest question, do the crew members actually live on board the cruise ship? Now, this is stupid and it has to be coming from the poor people that are staying in the interior cabins. No, we don't live on the cruise ship when we're working. How do you not hear the helicopters coming back and forth to pick all the crew members up to take them over to Club Med so they can eat lobster and cookies and cake and live a lavish lifestyle? Come on, let's be real here. Look, guys, yes, the crew members do actually live on board the cruise ship for 6 to 9 months, in fact. The way it works is that you take a contract and you are living on board in prison-like cozy accommodations that we all love, by the way. And while we're there for a very long time. We get to hang out with a bunch of people, make a bunch of friends and whatnot. And it's just overall a pretty exciting and joyful experience. Now, here's the deal. Whenever you as a passenger get off the ship as well, you know, on embarkation and disembarkation day, there are going to be crew members that are signing on, meaning they're joining the ship for that 6 to 9 months, and there are also going to be crew members that are signing off. It's a very intricate, delicate process, and it's actually really interesting to watch, too, if you're paying attention. Number 4, why isn't the microwave in my cabin working? Look, trust me, I can relate. I've been through this frustration before with the stupid microwave in the cabin or stateroom. The trick is to actually reset the timer before you push the popcorn button. That's how you get it to work. No, I'm joking, guys. That's actually a safe. Now, I know a lot of people typically don't use the safe in hotels and cruise ships, but it's there either way. That way you can put your jewelry, your valuables, your second cell phone that you don't want the girlfriend you're cheating on to see, stuff like that. The 5th dumbest question, are the toilets on board using salt water or fresh water? I'd have to ask, guys, because I'm really curious. Why does it even matter? Are you planning on drinking said water? Are you putting the jellyfish you caught over in one of the Caribbean islands inside the toilet to survive until you can get off the ship? It's really weird and confusing. I legitimately just want to know. Now, maybe it's because somebody just got a brand new booty tattoo and it's all scarred up and whatnot. And, you know, with the splashback, maybe you don't want the water to hit that tattoo while it's going up to your butt. But I don't know. Maybe. Because if that's the case, I kind of get it, because it's already bad enough that when the splashback happens, the water is cold. So maybe it makes sense. Number 6, how does the cruise ship have power so far away from land? Are you blind? How do you not see the world's longest extension cord that's connected from the cruise ship to the home port that we're sailing out of? I mean, seriously, like, you really have no eyes. You need some goggles or binoculars or bifocals or something like that, because seriously, it's right there. Of course, I'm kidding, guys. I know I have these really cheesy jokes, but seriously, so they do have generators on board the cruise ship that is diesel powered, that powers all the technology, you know, all the lights and everything else that you use on board the ship. Now, this is the standard for cruise lines. They are looking at other options like solar power and stuff down the road in the not so distant future, but yeah, that's a long way off. They use generators, except for that situation where there was the fire on the Carnival Triumph back in 2013 and it became the poop cruise. I gotta make a video about that one day, because it was a smelly event. 7th dumbest question. Do the crew members eat the leftovers by the guests at, let's say, the specialty dining restaurants? Well, yes, actually, the crew members do. It's just not the way you think. We're not exactly digging through the leftovers and half-eaten mahi-mahi from the guest at the specialty dining seafood option on board. The way it works is, yes, there are crew members that may, you know, indulge in some of the food at the restaurants. That's if they work there. However, on board we do have an area or 2 or 3 called the crew mess. There you can find your assortment of mystery meat and rice, and there is an unlimited amount of it, and it's actually quite good, at least once you get used to it. Number 8, how do you know the photo is yours at the cruise ship photo booth? Look, I'm going to make this one simple and quick because I think it's kind of self-explanatory. No crazy jokes here. I've actually seen this question being asked on multiple occasions. Guys, the picture that is yours is the one that you're in. Just food for thought, all right? That's all I'm going to say here. Number 9, from the guests to the entertainers on board. Are you doing this as volunteer? Are you actually and legitimately being paid to do this? Yes, we are on board the ship. So here's the deal. Back when I worked for NCL, this is something that I would often get asked literally every single cruise. This was due to when we were working with NCL, they would often have at least once a cruise, a talent show for all of the crew members that weren't in the actual entertainment department. So you had your waiters, your maitre d's, all these people that, let's say, wanted to sing or dance or juggle or do whatever they want. You know, even if it was a silly act or whatever, they wanted to do some stand-up, they could do it. Now, this ended up confusing the guests into thinking that all the crew members that are performing, even if they're in like the full-fledged production shows with all the lights and bells and whistles, that they're all just volunteers. They're not. People are actually getting paid to do this stuff. Now, given this is while we're on the ship, as an entertainer, the life can be very rough. When we're not on ship, some of us are living in our cars and going to soup kitchens. It really is like that. It's just the harsh reality. You ever heard of the starving artists? Well, picture that, except for the crew members that are in entertainment that aren't on the ship. So that's kind of like our safe haven. We can get on the cruise ship and live a lavish lifestyle, well, somewhat, except for the fact that we have prison-like accommodations. But we still love it. So now that you've almost survived this episode as well as my corny jokes, I do have to ask, if you're enjoying this video so far, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel along with the notification bell, and of course share this video. That way more people can see it, because it goes a very long way in support of my channel. That way I can continue to make content just like this, or maybe even better down the road. I guess we'll have to see. Now for number 10, why isn't water skiing or any other outdoor water activity allowed on the back of the ship? So being honest with you, I have kind of wondered about this myself. I mean, if there was like some type of jet skis or, you know, water skiing on board the back of the ship while you're sailing the 7 seas, that'd be kind of cool and probably a cash cow. But then I remember that this is a massive cruise ship. So imagine, let's say you're water skiing and you happen to fall off. Do you have any idea how long it would take for the cruise ship to just turn around to come back and pick you up? It's not a good idea. Now, yeah, they possibly could use the lifeboats to go and retrieve said people and get them back, but it's just a lot of work. So again, you'd pretty much be sitting in the water, and let's say the megalodon decides to come and take a nibble at you, you're kind of in a very bad position, an unlucky one at that. So I don't think the cruise lines just want to run the risk. That's a lot of hassle and problems that they could potentially see down the road, which would probably turn into lawsuits. Anyway, we are going to leave it right here. If you guys want a part 2, just let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know, have you seen or heard anybody ask a question like this while you were on board your cruise? Have you asked any of these questions? Don't be shy. Let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you in the next one, and I'll also see you out and about. Take it easy, guys.